Tonight's homework is page 65 and 66 in the homework journal, and it's going over a lot of the concepts that we've been talking about to help review for our test. The first one says fill in the bubble to show the equation that is correct. So the first one, 1 1/4 plus 1 1/4 equals 2 3/4. Well, I have 1/4 plus 1/4, which is 2/4, not 3/4, so that one is not correct. The second one, I have 4 3/12 plus 2 9/12. 4 plus 2 is 6. 3/12 plus 9/12 would be 12/12. So again, that one is not correct. Over here, 5 2/8 minus 3 1/8. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2/8 minus 1/8 is just 1/8. So that one is not correct. So hopefully our last one works. 3/10 plus 32/100 equals 62/100. I need to change this one to be 30/100 plus 32/100 equals 62/100, and that is true. Number 2, fill in the bubble to show which is not correct. The first one, I need to change that to 60/100 plus 15/100 is 75/100. That one is correct. The next one, 5/12 plus 7/12. Well, 5 plus 7 is 12, so that one is correct. 7/8 minus 3/8. Well, 7 minus 3 is 4/8, which is not the same thing as 1/3, so that one is not correct. So I will mark that one. And just to double check, 10/12 minus 4/12 is 6/12, which is the same as 1/2, so that one is correct. Number 3, fill in the bubbles to show which are correct, and there is more than one. This says 3/10 is less than 3/100. That's not true. I'd rather have 3 dimes than 3 pennies. This one says 6/10 is greater than 49/100. If I want to, I can rewrite that as 60/100 is greater than 49/100. And I see that that one is true. 2/8 equals 1/4. Well, I know another way to write 1/4. If I multiply them both by 2 is 2/8. So that one is also true. And then the last one says 7/10 equals 70/100. And 7/10 I can rewrite as 70/100. And those are also true. So 3 of them were right. Now we're finding the ones that are not correct. The first one says 5/100 equals 1/2. I'm going to write that as a fraction. 5/100. Well, half of 100 is 50, not 5. So that one is not correct, so I'm going to fill in the bubble. The next one says 4/10 equals 60/100. Well, 4/10 can be written as 40/100, and that's not the same as 60/100. So that is not correct, so we fill in that bubble. The next one, 25/100 is greater than 3/10. This has a 2 in the tens place, and this has a 3 in the tens place. So this one is bigger, so that is not correct. So we fill in the bubble. And this one says 6/10 is less than 60/100. Well, I can write 6/10 as 60/100, and then they would be equal, so that one is not correct. So we fill in the bubble. So all of those were wrong. Number 5, put the fractions and decimals in the correct place on the number line. I see that I have some that are bigger than 1 and some that are less than 1. So I'm going to look at these ones that are less than 1. And I see this 75/100 is more than half, because again, half of 100 is 50. 1/4, so I'm going to put a little m there for more than half. 1/4 is less than half. And 3/8 is less than half. So this 75/100 must be the biggest one. And then I have 1/4 and 3/8. Well, 3/8 is really close to half, and 1/4 is pretty far away. So I'm going to say 1/4 and then 3/8. Okay, now looking at my ones that were bigger than than 1, I have 1 and 5/10, which is the same thing as 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 1 1/4. Well, I'm going to put 1 1/2 on first, so 1 5/10 goes first. 1 3/4 is greater than that half, and 1 1/4 is less than a half. So our number line would look like that. On the back, fill in the table with the base 10 model, decimal, or fraction. Okay. The first one is done for us. So we're either drawing the picture, writing the decimal, or the fraction. So over here, I have 40 hundredths filled in, and so we can write 40 hundredths. This one gives us 75 hundredths, so I need to shade 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75, and 75 hundredths. Looks like that. If you wanted to simplify it, you could write 3/4. And the last one is 6/10. As a decimal, it looks like 6/10, and that's just 10 rows. So 10 rows, or 6 rows. Number 7. Daniel collects baseball cards and keeps them in a special binder. Each page holds 9 baseball cards in a 3x3 array. The first page is 4/9 full. The second page is 1/3 full. If Daniel put all the cards onto just one page, what fraction of that page would be full? So I need to add 4/9 plus 1/3. And I can't add those the way they are because the denominators don't match. But I do know that if I multiply 3 times 3, I'm going to get to 9. So I'm going to do the same with the top to find that equivalent fraction. 1 times 3 is 3. So I know that 1/3 is the same as 3/9. So now I can add 4/9 plus 3/9 and get 7/9 of the page. So 7 of the 9 spots are available. And the challenge. Sienna also collects baseball cards in a binder just like Daniel's. Her last page was 6/9 full, but she gave 1/3 of those cards to Daniel. What fraction of Sienna's last page is full now? Well, I'm going to go back and use, since I'm giving some away, I know my problem is a subtraction problem. And again, I can't subtract because those denominators don't match, but I already did the work here. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to have 6/9 minus 1/3 we said was 3/9. So we have 3/9 left over. Can Daniel fit the cards from his first page, his second page, and the cards that Sienna gave him all on one page in his binder? Well, we figured out if I combine my first and my second page, I have 7/9. So I'm going to start with 7/9. And she gave him 3/9, which means now he has 10/9. Can I fit 10 cards where I only have 9 spaces? Nope. So they cannot go all on one page. There would be 1 left over. And that is tonight's homework for our fraction review.